the answers are inside. Yeah, I am a 21st century superhuman. Now is the time. Come on everyone, let's celebrate. We are the children of the sun. I can see you when I look into your eyes. We are the same, and we are light, yeah, we are one. Here now, hear my ancient prayer and sing along. We are awakening as one. And we can make a difference. Yeah, we can be the change it takes to make the world.
Hi there, I'm Cary Ellis, author of 21st Century Superhuman. Today I have Ilona Selke with me, my beautiful goddess sister who is currently in Bali. Hello, Ilona, how are you?
Hi, Cary. It's so beautiful to see you and have the Rainbow Bridge go from here to there. It's amazing. Around the world, really, with all the listeners of yours.
Yes. And Ilona, I'm so excited to do this show with you. You have so many amazing things going on. And I did one just recently with your partner, Don, on his amazing scalar technology for helping us be free from all this electronic smog that we live in. And he's quite a wizard with that. But I'm so excited to introduce you today. And I am author of 21st Century Superhuman. These are our 21st Century Superhuman shows. To get us started today, would you mind if I just read a little bit off your bio, because it's so good. I just want to share this with people.
Cool.
And I think it'll be easier for me trying to say it.
All right. Okay.
So, Ilona Selke is an international published author of 5 books and has been a seminar leader and speaker in the Human Potentials movement since 1991. Additionally, she is publishing her upcoming book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening. And this is everything that I talk about all the time anyway, so I'm so excited for you to talk about this.
Yes.
Which is due to be published June of 2017. She is running her own TV show called Quantum Living with Ilona Selke, and it sounds very much like 21st Century Superhuman Quantum Lifestyle. I think we're in such the similar wavelength here. She is seen on TV at A&E and BRAVO in an interview with Jack Canfield. She is co-authoring with Jack Canfield of Chicken Soup of the Soul, The Big Secret. Jack Canfield is best-selling author, and I bet you guys are going to be best-selling authors on this next book. How exciting. And she is also co-authoring with Brian Tracy of the best-selling book, The Success Blueprint. And so you have previously published books internationally on Amazon, and I know you have courses. You lead seminars called Living from Vision, and I think we're going to talk about that quite a bit today, and we'll be giving people an opportunity even to get a discount for finding you on this show and enrolling in your seminars, and we'll put information on that under the video and share more as we move on here.
And
I know
freebies.
And freebies, yes, of your free book. So let's just mention really quickly, and I know you've written more books, and there's probably more than we could tell about you in just 5 minutes, but I'm so excited that you have this just really brilliant, beautiful background that you have. Anything you'd like to say about yourself and your journey as we get started here?
Yeah, just, what people like to know. I was born in Afghanistan and Himalayas to German parents.
Wow.
And so I have a little bit of an Asian background. The people and nannies that were around me were that. And now living in Bali, I feel, although it's a totally different belief structure, there is something Asian that is deep within my bones still. And then I lived in Germany for the more growing up years, and then moved to America when I was 20 to study philosophy, and met my husband when I was 21. And you know what? Actually, let me just, I'm going to share my screen and show you my sweetie.
Okay.
Okay, share screen, click here. Get started. Okay, so from the beginning, that's me. All right, livingfromvision.com. You may, whoever wants to later on find out more, but here is Don Paris, my sweet husband of 34 years, and that picture was just taken a couple of weeks ago.
Beautiful.
34 years together, and we are working as a tandem, as a soulmate. And I think when people ask me is how do you create a soulmate relationship, people really want to know. And it's
They
about,
really do. I think that's a topic that's very up right now because I believe couples are actually coming together to help carry forward this work on
yeah,
the planet and be operating at a much higher level together.
yeah. And I do think we have multiple evolutionary states going on simultaneously on this planet. I see
Definitely.
planet Earth more of a school. Do you still see me when I talk, or do I need to shift back to
Nope.
the other view? It's
Actually,
okay.
you and I are both just little tiny pictures right now. So if you'd like to be back fully visible, we're
Mm,
seeing the picture of you
okay.
and
Well, let
Tom.
me just go. A little bit of my background. Obviously,
Yes.
we live here in Bali. In the middle there, you see our retreat center called Chambala, and it's right on
Wow.
the ocean. And of course, there are dolphins, and that is because for 10 years, and that's Cary, where you and I dovetailed. You
Yes.
were into the dolphins for so
Yes.
many decades, and hours and hours.
Actually, yeah, I ended up running a program called Dolphin Camp for a dozen years out of the
Mm,
Florida Keys and
mm.
Yucatan. And then you guys actually overlapped us and actually bought the boat
Started.
that we had been doing.
Yes.
So you did the next 12 years in the same place with the same dolphins. And here
And
we are coming together in this beautiful, just confluence of energy here.
supreme structure of the universe
Yes.
closing in circles and saying the rainbow bridge walk is so exacting. So every single thing you do will be carried in your aura. Whatever thoughts
Yes.
you carry, whatever you think and
Yes.
feel, it'll make like almost like a grid work of light, a resonant pattern around you. So
Yes.
whatever little insignificant or significant thing you do, whether it's picking up a piece of trash from the beach when you walk by, or helping somebody, or picking up a piece of clothing when you're in a department store that's fallen down, pay attention to who you are in everything, because
Yes.
it matches you to the people who match you.
Yes.
And I'll tell you that back into the relationship search and
Let me
soulmate.
just
Yeah.
let me just jump into to mention one of the things you and I were just discussing about all that time we spent with dolphins is
Yeah.
I always say, and I'm sure it's true about you too, I'm not like regular people because the dolphins taught me to live in this multidimensional brainwave frequency because
Mm.
they entrain us into alpha, beta, delta, theta, and gamma all at once. So we learn how to cross pollinate our brain and our dimensional being and our nervous system and our heart. And
Yeah, there is such an amazing gift to have swum with dolphins. I have taken even handicapped children to swim with dolphins.
yes,
But let me just I want to switch through this. So here, this is Shangri-La, which is now called Shambhala Retreat Center on Bali, and where people bring their groups, and where I also teach. So then there is the book cover. That's what I wanted to show. Dolphins, Wisdom of the Dolphins. That's actually Cary, that's the one that you're going to have on your link. When people go to your link, that's the free book they get. Now
that is
people,
amazing. Thank you
yeah,
so much.
yeah, you can go to Amazon and pay $17.95, but you can get it for free from me. I have a different cover on it for the ebook part,
Right?
but you can, this is the cover. And then we have Dolphins, Love, and Destiny next to it, which is about relating on a soul level with another and the different stages we go through, and relationship questions of loyalty, monogamy, love, honor,
Nice.
and how do we intertwine our souls? What happens when we do, and what do we see? Those
Nice.
are questions I write about in that book. And there are the two books you mentioned, The Success Blueprint with Brian Tracy, where I write, and if you let me, I'll tell a story. We are trying to learn how to be quantum living beings. And in that
Yes.
book, I told you, remember, I mentioned that story about the airplane thing?
Yes. 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 Yes.
So shall I tell the story
Please
later
do.
on?
I think that's, yes,
Yeah.
later on or now, because I think that's the most
Okay.
amazing story.
Okay, and then I'll just go through this little bit here. The Big Secret with Jack Canfield, that book's still coming out. But again, it's also about a miracle story that happened to us in Hawaii, where I will tell you some of these stories that I wrote about in these books that are real life miracle changes that can only happen if you know how to access that very fine, focused, coherent state of consciousness. It
Yes.
is required to access the dream universe or the blueprint So you can create physical changes from the inside out.
Yes,
all right,
we
and
want to hear
then
more about that.
yeah,
By the way, how did you get hooked up with these two guys, Brian Tracy and Jack Canfield?
honestly, I sat down and I said, I took the living, we have the Living from Vision course.
Right.
And it says, it teaches about goal setting.
Right.
So I last May said, I'm going to write a book and I need a buddy to write a book with. So I got a friend here in Bali and we're like calling each other, texting every day, a little bit on Facebook Messenger and saying, did you write a paragraph? I wrote a page. I wrote this. I did that. And then I just envisioned where I want to go with it and the size and the outreach I want to have. I don't want to just write a book.
Yes.
Mind you, I want to have the effect of the book.
Right.
So I envisioned, dream big. I did this, sat down, and within a month, I got an email that said, would you like to co-author with Brian Tracy?
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like going, no, they must not be talking to me.
Yeah.
So I passed the email and then I went back a couple of days and said, why not? I said dream big. So I said yes. And then one thing led to the other. I got to know the people. They said, oh, one day, honest to God, I said, I'm late. I should call those people in Florida. They're situated. I have to call them. I'm late for something. I walk out to the mailbox and I have an envelope in my hand that says, you are just about to be too late for an interview with Jack Canfield, but if you call me on Monday morning, I'll take you.
I've got chills. That's amazing.
Oh my God. And it's like, so it's, like the dolphin living in heightened states of awareness, which means daily practice, but that's what we do with the Living from Vision course. We have the language of the brain, the language of imagery, and the right brain, left brain coherency. So we're bringing the masculine understanding, the scientific understanding of quantum world thinking, quantum physics applied into psychology and higher dimensional mind thinking to where we get results.
And this is what I say the ancients called the shift of the ages, because we are beginning to understand how our thoughts create our reality, that we are quantum beings, and we are in this great change on planet Earth, which its essence is about this which you speak. And I think that's one reason your course and the books you're writing are so, so, so important, because I feel you have not only a spiritual grasp and a visionary grasp, but a very scientific grasp of how this works. And I think that's so important, that people can get real practical tools to how to put this into practice. So
it's scientific, it's visionary, and it's practical, and it's daily work. And I honestly, I get so many people writing me. I've done this since 1991. I actually have been teaching since 1983, but really the big seminars where I had, strong impact started in 1991. And so my code of what I want to do is teach how to live multidimensionally, how to really become enlightened beings. But in the process, we will see the fiber of our physical world around us change.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, when you start practicing opening the time-space fabric with your consciousness, you will learn to live a balanced life, which means you get physical body results, you have your mind, your spirit, and your emotions in balance, because all our emotions are our way showers of saying, wait, there's something up, that's not quite right. And so when we learn to integrate the right brain, left brain, and limbic brain, and go up, like you said, in the gamma frequency brainwave state, we really literally part the waves of time-space like Moses did. And in a minute, I'll tell you the story about that.
I'm getting chills.
Yeah, and here's, I'm going to put this in a nutshell. We have dreams and goals, and we go like, give me. But in the end, what happens, I want a house, a good car, a good job, I want, blah, blah, blah. It turns into, later on, once you've done all that, what do you want next? You become ever so more capable of living a conscious life. And you become, in the process of manifestation and fixing your life to become beautiful, like heaven on earth, you become an enlightened being. And that is the ultimate goal with why we even practice all manifestation skills. So that is why I offer real tools, because a lot of times I've seen in weekend seminars, people go like, wow, this is amazing. And then they go home and it's like,
they need help. They need help too. They need something to connect with.
Daily, on a daily,
Yeah.
exactly, on a daily basis. So we have the online courses, we have it in hardback, we teach coaches, we train people how to teach people, and we have online tools. And that woman sitting there with her little app tool in her hand, that's what it is. You go to bed dreaming about your universe, and the universe is listening.
Beautiful.
Really, it does. It listens to our, I mean, it's almost like we're living in a matrix.
Yes.
I mean, come on, that anybody, Christians, whoever it is, Muslims, Hindus, they pray and they see results. You've been here in Bali, you know, they create magic. We do
Right.
every faith with the emphasis on focusing on a higher power, whatever that may be called, creates results. And I think that is like, we should have all woken up to the fact that saying, this ain't what it looks like. This is a different universe.
That's exactly right. I think we're just waking up to that fact.
Right. Exactly. So this
I
time,
love that. Dream big, the universe is listening. How beautiful
Yeah.
is that?
yeah, and I'm so grateful. Actually, the one on the left side with Poyan making the picture. Poyan is an amazing photographer. He did that for a calendar, the Woman's Inspirational 2017 Woman's Calendar. And if you Google or YouTube me, you'll see me on one of the intros, and then you can pursue that. It's about, and what you wanted to do is bring women into the forefront of sharing information, because women, as men do too, have access to the subtle dimensions with a greater ease. So let me stop sharing that screen. So I'm on.
Beautiful.
Right now?
You're
All
on
right.
now. Yes.
Okay. All right. So when we dream, it's not like, oh, well, I want this, I want that. It's more like you have to learn a step-by-step process of how to access, first of all, how to formulate your mind, you know, how to envision it. Oops, now I see you still. I see just a still shot of yours. Okay. And now it's silent. You're on mute.
All right. I'm turning my video off so that you will have more bandwidth available.
I see. Okay. Okay.
So I'm right here still. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Okay. So then when we go into our internal state and we go into determining what we really want. Now, there are stages and steps, but in a nutshell, the most important thing is that we start getting a feeling of what it would be like if we were in the future. Now, I remember somebody describing how UFOs are flown, and whether this is real or not, it works as a beautiful reminder and metaphor for me to still remember how to navigate through time and space. And I'll give you a story in a minute of showing how magical this can get, but it goes like this. They put their hands on the console where they put their fingers on, and then they don't dial in kind of machine stuff. They dial in the coordinates of the end result into their consciousness.
Beautiful.
I love this.
I love it.
And then you envision the end result, Alpha Centauri or wherever you want to go, and be there.
Beautiful.
Now, astrally, we can do that. We can project, we can go there, but the physical reality is just a little bit slower, and the faster we vibrate and the more polished we are. Let's say we go from normal vibration to higher vibration. We're up here, and you put a coordinate into that heightened state. We're right there.
Beautiful.
And so you can lapse time space by the virtue of raising your states of frequency. Now, learning how to do that will take time. And, you know, in the push button reality that we live in, I have to say, well, come back to a real school of practice, but it goes a lot faster now because people like you and me, we've done our homework, and we can say, out of all the things that I studied, it wasn't this, it was, okay, addressing your emotional body and purifying your emotional body, that matters a lot.
Right.
Suppressing your emotions does not work. So I give tools in the Living from Vision course of how to handle and dialogue with negative emotions, which is based on Dr. Vernon Wolf's work called holodynamics.
Beautiful.
It's phenomenal. I mean, you might, I wrote a children's book. It just came out in Hindi and now is coming out in Russian. And the Living from Vision course is being taught in China. I was going to give you a quote, one of the people just teaching gave one of the quotes from the students with a picture of a beautiful Chinese face of a guy who used to have acne, and now he envisioned himself when all the acne is gone. It's like, yes.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, it's practical stuff. We talk with our biology and we talk with outside time space.
Beautiful.
So cleaning up your emotions, dialoguing with them, and finding out what the negative emotions really want is a crucial part of making success happen.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then setting your goal where you want to go. So it's cleaning up the past, setting your goal on the future, and then learning how to ascend to the essence of your soul core, however and wherever you think that is. That
Nice.
takes time and lifetimes, but we make progress as we go.
And I think we're on the accelerated track right now. I think the more who get it, we're kind of in that 100th monkey time, you know, the frequency is now being held by many. So I think it's easier to just go through those phases and kind of catapult ourselves into it. But I love it that you have this guidance for it. Sign me up. I'm ready to come over and hang out with you guys.
Yeah, awesome. And share dolphin stories. I feel like we have 1 hour and it's like such a sliver. Okay, so when you get, I mean, obviously most people are familiar with the brainwave states of the sleep cell, the data state is the sleep state, then into theta, which is 4 cycles a second, you know, it goes into variations. And then we go up into alpha, which centers around 8 cycles per second, up to 12. And then from 12 up to 22, we have the beta frequencies. But then it doesn't stop there. And this is what I want to get across, is that wherever you are, you can practice manifestation skills. But if you go like, well, it happens, you know, a little later, well, keep practicing. If you learn to raise your consciousness, and that's learning how to fine-tune your brainwave frequencies and finding the core of your soul at the center of the universe. Wherever you imagine that to be, you can think of it as a rocket ship going to the center and making contact with God. And when you do, you have this influx of power.
Nice.
It's like you collapse time space to a 0 point in yourself, and you become the toroid. Yeah. And so when you go into the heightened states, you kick into gamma brainwave states, which
absolutely,
you know, is not necessarily that well popular yet, but it is, and that's what the Dalai Lama offered his Buddhist monks. They were measured in their brainwave states.
Right.
When they went into gamma brainwave states, they typically went around 44 hertz.
Right.
And that is, you know, if you were to give it sounds, like sleep goes like this,
right,
1 cycle per second, 4 cycles, that's like sleeping with a little bit of dreaming. Now dreaming comes down at 8 times a second, pretty slow. Then comes waking consciousness, 12 to 20 cycles per second. I don't think I can even do that.
I love this.
But now comes gamma frequency, and it goes like,
yes.
And when you put that, you have to harmonize your brainwave states and get into that centered state.
Yes.
The masculine and the feminine, so to speak.
Yes.
You unify that, and you go and break through with your limbic part of your brain, which is the bone structure. It's in Ayurvedic, it's the kapha energy, you know, the earthy thing. You combine heaven and earth, and then you go into really fine gamma frequencies. And if I may introduce the concept of the toroid, to bring the fountain of energy down, up and down through your feet, so you cycle it up through the central channel. It integrates, you're going up. It's not an up, you know, what I try to say is intensifying your frequency. You don't disappear into the clouds. It may feel that way. You see grander landscapes of time space in your inner worlds. You become galactic in your seeing. But that's just a metaphor for becoming super present. You know, I am the Alpha and the Omega. I'm one, the beginning and the end. When you bridge super high consciousness, eternity becomes you, or you become one with eternity. That's when you can go and say, this is what needs to happen now, and time space collapses around you.
Yes.
So
I
to
would say
make
this is when, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you. Go
But
ahead.
it's a story now. This is where I
Yeah.
thought, you said, share that story, and I think this would be a good.
Well, I was just going to say, I believe this is when those flashes of brilliance come, super genius, super manifestation.
Yeah.
And it is when the left and right brain are super communicating with each other. The masculine and feminine are in union.
Right.
And it is probably really we're accessing the unified field. And that's it. That's when we enter into that state, the gamma state.
So, I usually try to say in seminars, who's all manifested a parking spot? And most seminars that people who come here, like at least 70% have.
Right.
I would say actually a larger percentage, but let's just say most people have dibbled with it. Some people can manifest a lot more than that, but everybody has had an experience of that. So I want to give you a collapsing time-space scenario that I wrote up in the book, The Blue Secret Success Blueprint with Brian Tracy. And it's a story where Don and I are flying to Florida to take people out to swim with dolphins in the same boat as you were with same captain at the time. I think it may, I don't know. I think, well, actually it may have already been the successor captains by then.
Right. Yeah.
And then, we owned the boat at one point for 10 years, and it was almost like a stewardship, just making sure people had access to dolphins.
Yeah.
And so we're on the way. We're flying from Seattle, where we live on an island north of Seattle. We built a geodesic dome there with our own hands, and we're flying to Washington, D.C. to go to Key West. So flying to Washington, D.C. is tricky in the summer because they have so many thunderstorms. And as we were flying and ready to land, we went into a holding pattern. And sure enough, I was flying in a 777. They had it showing in front of on the little video screen in front of me on this chair. And the captain, the purser announced, "Oh, we're sorry, we're bad weather, we're cycling. And we're waiting for better weather." The guy next to me was a pediatrician, a doctor for children. And he said, "Oh God, I do this every summer. I know. They'll get us to Baltimore, and then they make us deplane in Baltimore. And then we have to catch a bus, and then they ship us over to DC. And then they take our suit. Then you have to rebook on another flight." He said, "Forget about arriving tomorrow in Key West."
Wow.
And I'm like, no. I have to teach these people who are going to show up from Germany. They don't know what to do.
Right.
So I was reading a book, Time Shift, and I thought, this would be a good moment practicing time shift.
Definitely.
All right, so I'm like going, okay, we're landing in Washington, D.C. I'm so like, visualize it, feel it. I'm that alien, UFO flying captain, and I'm landing my ship in Washington, D.C. And sure enough, we're going down. No, actually, nope. They said, "Oh, sorry, we're diverting the plane to Baltimore." The guy next to me goes, "I told you so." So on the 777, we're diverting. So sure enough, we're going to land, and I'm like going, "This is going to be Washington, D.C., and I'm like all stoked and happy, and I visualized already Don congratulating me or me congratulating him. We land. I turn to Don, and I say, "Congratulations, Don. We landed in D.C." Voice comes on and says, "Welcome in Baltimore." I said, "Geez, what did I do wrong? My time-space experiment didn't work."
Right.
So I said, "Dear God, okay, what did I do wrong? I need to learn real quick here." And the instant answer was, you congratulated yourself before the final version of the success.
Wow.
How many people go get a credit card out and buy something because they say the money will surely follow when I spend the money? Well, you wait till the proof is in the pudding. All right. I said, "I'm so sorry, universe. I'm so sorry. This is going to be very inconvenient. Let's just look at the whole big picture. Is there anybody, or me included, that need to land in Baltimore? All right, I'll agree. However, if there isn't a real need for that, look at the waste of the money and the resources and everything. Wouldn't it be much nicer if we landed in Washington, D.C. today?" So I'm sitting here. We're rolling on the runway, right?
Yes.
I had the galls to just go, nope. Reality shifts, and I've done this often enough in my life to have had the courage to keep my eyes closed.
Beautiful.
So I'm like going, okay. Well, Dorothy, I'm no longer in Kansas or whatever.
Yes.
I'm in Baltimore. I'm in Washington, D.C. I'm in Washington, D.C. Closed my eyes, said, okay, I won't congratulate myself until I hear the right answer. The plane comes to a stop. They're opening the doors. The person announces, I was just informed that we landed in Washington.
That is so awesome.
So I'm like going, done. Thanks, congratulations. After the fact, not before.
Beautiful.
So the story is, and of course my pediatrician was totally dumbfounded. He's like, his version, and you know, doctors, I mean, have a doctor next to you tell you this is how it's going to be.
Right.
And you just say, well, have your own opinion. That's not my world. I'm living in my own universe. We all have bubbles of universes. And especially in this time and age, I want to tell everybody, be aware of how the universe talks to you, because you can be guarded. You will be guarded and guided and protected. You will hear the right directions of when to get up, when to move, when to be where, in order to be in your heaven on earth.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful.
Because people always think we need to, you have so many people who say, like right now, I read it, you know, the Hicks people, the other people who all visualized, you know, Trump not winning. And I'm like going, you don't know how many people need that experience.
Right.
I did ask the universe if there was anybody who needed to land in Baltimore, including myself, let it be that. But in case it didn't absolutely need to happen, how about a little shift here?
Yes.
Because it really was important to me. It wasn't like, oh, I'd like to just have it easy. I needed to show up on time the next day, to be there with a group, to teach them to swim with dolphins and do telepathic experiments. So
right.
When you have a real need and you've learned to hone in your practice, and I'm sharing these stories because in the olden days, in my own youth, younger years, I would be mum about everything. I would not share about my gems, jewels, anything. You know, I would recommend building up your own chi until you have enough certainty, because people's thoughts, you know, they meld and touch our lives. And it's like, until you become the lighthouse, it's good to shore up your own experience until you stand on solid ground and then share.
Definitely.
But me sharing this nugget now is more like saying, if I can do it, I only cook with water. You can do it. I don't use microwaves. No, you can do it too. It's just a matter of sitting down, doing your homework on a daily basis. And I still listen to my own audios on the Living from Vision app.
Wow, that says a lot.
Yeah.
That is amazing that you do that.
Yeah, because, you know, people say, how did you get so good at this manifesting thing? Well, I practice. You know, I take the time to envision and be in my future. And that is like God's inspirational way comes in. So,
and what is it they say? 10,000 hours to mastery.
Yeah, whatever it is.
You know, so it's like the day in, day out. And this is a walk of mastery. That's what we're in this lifetime, in this quantum universe.
Yes.
We are awake, we're conscious, we're present, and we're accounted for. And now we are going to master this realm. And there are certain stepping stones. And that's so beautiful that you still listen to your own CDs, because you have amalgamated enough information that you know you want to be doing that in a sequential manner for your own mastery. That's beautiful. Yeah. I love it.
I mean, gravity gets a hold of all of us, including me, and it's like, not today, not now. And it's like, you know what, your life is so much better if you do, so might as well. It's only 15 minutes, you know, it's short bursts. And, you know, the universe doesn't need us meditating. I mean, heightened states of awareness is something you can practice on an ongoing basis. You can again and again become hyper aware of who you really are at your core. And that will increase in capacity over lifetimes.
Yes.
It's not a one-time shot thing. And in this lifetime, I have seen the increase in radiance, and it takes daily practice. Now, sometimes I don't get time to do it, but you know, so I mean, I will always throughout the day focus in and do my exercises. However, I'm just saying gravity can get a hold of all of us and our emotions, and we have to build our spiritual muscle. That's why we are here. It's like, have a little resistance to where you know exactly how much pressure it takes to create results. You know? So you become a brilliant diamond in the process of this density. Well, we call it density. It's just actually thought creates gravitational fields. If you want to quote me in the future, that'll be written in scientific books.
Interesting. Thought creates gravitational fields.
Yeah. Thought creates gravitational, information creates gravitational fields. Thought is creating informational fields.
Interesting.
And because of the soup of consciousness, you put an awakened or any intention in, and it starts dualizing. Actually, it starts creating this and not that, and then it starts creating spin until it matters and manifests in a spin. And so when you put your attention on something, it doesn't actually require energy. You just, the higher you place it, the faster it comes in.
That is a really, really, really key piece of scientific data there. I like that.
Yeah. The other piece is, I can do this story quickly. We were in Hawaii. We lived in Hawaii. We lived by a dolphin beach there for 12 years and on the big island. And one day I had a Bali bed already delivered. We'd bought one, but it was, it's clunky and big and out of very heavy wood. And we had a delivery slated for 7 p.m. on Friday afternoon. Well, it had been raining buckets all afternoon, didn't stop. And at 6 p.m., I'm like going, dear clouds, I have a delivery at 7. Could you stop? And they were like, you've got to be kidding. I mean, you should have said something a little sooner than this. You have your dialogues, and if you learn how to listen to dialogues and you practice when you're on and when you're off, you become better and better at this dialogue.
Absolutely. I've seen it over and over.
Yeah. And that makes everything vibrate with consciousness. You can communicate with a tree, with a plant, with an animal, with a rock, crystals, anything. And if you because everything is a condensation of consciousness. So I talked with the clouds and they said, sorry, a little late. So I said, oh, a little late. I can fix that. Same concept of the gamma frequencies. I went up into heightened states of frequencies, which allow me, mark my words now, to go beyond the current time zone into heightened and higher states. If you imagine time as a triangle, this reflecting eternity, and the bottom part being linear time as we know it.
Beautiful.
As you raise in your vibration to the apex, time-space shrinks to an instant of 0 point. Now, it's an art to get to 0 point, but any place in between gives you access to a shrunk down time space. It's not this wide anymore. It's this and it's this and it's this. Nice. So I raised my vibration to a moment in time when the clouds, when I was in time with the clouds and could tell them the same message again. And I said, at that heightened state, I said, oh, later on today at 7 p.m., I'm having a delivery. Would you mind being done raining by then? And they said, oh, sure, no problem.
Beautiful. I have total chills. Beautiful.
Yes. So at that level of heightened state, and it's something when you go into a felt state. Actually the Dalai Lama the other day in an interview said consciousness is a feelable state. So you can go, it's palpable. It's a sensation in your biochemistry when you hit certain resonant states. So you can learn to identify them in time. So they said, no problem. It kept raining and raining and raining and raining. The truck drove in, it was still raining. The truck driver opened the door. It stopped raining that moment.
Beautiful.
Honestly, I got the umbrella ready. I'm like going, we're doomed. We had to go up the slippery steps. It would have been treacherous. This heavy stuff would have taken half an hour, all these pieces to carry up this narrow wooden staircase to our upstairs part of the second floor. We were in a house, the downstairs had my prayer room and the upstairs our living room. It would have been treacherous because the stairs were slippery. So it stopped raining that moment. So we're like, okay, so let's go out. Let's get this going. Maybe who knows how long this lasts. We've got the bed set up. He put the shoes on. He opened the sliding glass door. The rain poured down again.
Wow.
So I have Don as my witness. The guy is still alive, I suppose.
That is amazing.
When you experience things like the 2 stories I just told you, and I'm sharing them to let you know that what you think matters, what you envision matters in your life.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
now I'm not into fixing my neighbor's life. I mean, one time we wanted rain. We said, rain, 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 come. We really want to know that it can rain when we've talked to you, rain clouds, because we need it. Same place, Hawaii, but now in a drought. That night, we all had our little things out, glass measurement, how much rain we get.
Mhm.
We got rain that night. Our neighbor
Mm.
didn't. Our neighbor
Mm.
didn't.
Wow.
And it's like, sometimes you just go like, okay, universe says you want rain, but please allow your neighbor their experience.
Right.
They may or may not have the same vibratory need for lessons as you do.
Yes.
So if we
Beautiful.
want to have a blanket universal truth for everybody, I'm bowing out. I'm saying, I'm teaching everybody, create the vibratory bubble, because you will encounter all those that fit into your bubble, but it is a multiverse. We live in a soul-centric multiverse. Each one
Beautiful.
of us had a vibrating conglomeration of the right things, the right people at the right time, according to your own projection of holograms that you carry within, the blueprint in you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you want to change into a different world, I guess we only have a few more minutes, like 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, we've got about 10 or 15 minutes, and I'd love to ask you some questions, but I just don't want
Yeah.
to stop you because you're so amazing in describing this.
Okay,
It's
so
just
let me
like
just
getting to
wrap these
sit
two
at the
stories.
feet of someone who has mastery in a certain area. So
It
thank you
is,
so much for sharing this beautiful, succinct message with us that we
yeah.
really can actually go put into practice.
Yeah, so what I can say for everybody is there are a few steps you can take home. So one is, whatever show you see yourself in, see it as like, oh, it's my hologram show. I'm in holodeck. Great. I didn't like this. Okay, let me stop. Look at it, go, oh, what is going on? That takes you into the observer mode of consciousness, being the player and not you, the ego. Ah, what's going on? Okay, this isn't working, that's not working, that's not working, I'm not liking this, that, and the other. Ah, okay, that's great that you noticed. Because you can only notice when you step out, and at that moment you become the consciousness that's observing and no longer the actor on the stage. It allows you time enough to refocus, number two, refocus on what you really want. And you need maybe a moment of time, and this also takes a cultivation of being solution oriented. You know, in the olden days, Dawn would be like saying, according to the Dr. Vern's technique called tracking by the holodynamics, so you want to transform that? And I'm like, no, I want to wallow in my thing. I want to just feel it. Well, it's nice if you give yourself permission, but eventually, what do you really want? Wallow in the negativity or have the end result? And moving into a fulfilled life is not a drama story. We have to let go of being the drama queen or drama king, and we have to let go of not having things work out to have some sob story to tell. That we have
Beautiful.
to give up. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes.
But we do get living in heaven on earth. I mean, we get living in a unified field in which our consciousness is an active player. And that requires that we refocus. Okay, so I'm in this world, this is happening, what do I really want? You step back, you refocus, you feel what it would feel like if you already had what you really want. And that is an energetic shift, it's a mental shift, and the more you practice, the easier it goes. And then you just put yourself for a moment in the end result. Pretend as if it already happened. Shift, go in there, dare to dream. Be in it for a moment.
Beautiful.
And when you hold that matrix, something happens. The old disappears, the new takes on, and you shift the holographic blueprint pattern within yourself.
Beautiful.
And according to the laws of resonance, the universe will comply. Now, it might require figuring out what part in me in there is created a drama experience, because obviously this has a core maybe pattern, and I may need to address a core pattern or belief in me.
Yes.
And then use a technique which we call tracking or transformation according to Dr. Vern Wolf's work. I have it in the Living from Vision course. It's also in my children's book, Alan Learns to Use His Imagination. It's on Amazon.
Nice.
If you Google my name, you'll see the books in there. But then you talk with this and find out what it really wants. nothing else but stop, look, become it, and absorb the old energy into the new. Let the old energy become absorbed. So I just wanted to sum that up so we get some stories that are magical, that show us that time-space can magically shift. And the guy, when he went back to his truck in the rain and drove off in this downpour for the rest of the night, showed me the exact, I mean, I think the universe was wanting to say, look, we are listening.
Yes.
And time, space, when the cloud said, no, we're not going to stop now. Look, we're heavy, we're this. Well, at that level of frequency, it was true. The time space could not move. But when you move into a higher frequency yourself, you're no longer in the same universe. You are in a more flexible universe.
Beautiful.
So your consciousness determines the ship, whether you're sitting on the ocean or whether you're flying or zipping through time space or going through wormholes. That is up to you to practice. So I invite all of you to join me, join us in picking up as many tools as you can. And I, through your page, will offer my book, Wisdom of the Dolphins. It's called Living in a Holographic Universe now. Stories of magic of communication with dolphins. But this transformation technique I describe in that book, how to shift from the old into the new, and you can glean it from the book, or you can of course come on board with me, study. It's all affordable. We're giving 25, I think it's a 20% discount on the Living from Vision course if they go and click, and then they'll fund your Superhuman Institute. So I'm done. I'll answer all questions. I just wanted to wrap it up and give some solid tools to take home. Shift the universe from within, but take a step back and start re-feeling what you really want and go into that.
Beautiful. Ilona, just your verbalization of this is incredible. You're amazing, amazing, amazing. And I would personally like to just participate in your course. So
Yes,
everything that you told us today is like a fantastic lesson. And I think if all people do is listen to this video several times, they will get a really amazing body of teaching that can help shift how they think. But if we wanted to start including your work in our daily life, and we weren't quite ready to come to be with you in Bali, so is there a way we can get an online course? And
yes.
How does that work? How is it a daily thing, or what do you send us, and how does that?
Okay, so the online course is actually really beautifully worked out. You sign in online, and there are 5 segments. So you do it over 5 weeks. Usually one segment takes about 2.5, 3 hours to go through. And that's like taking a mini seminar, let's say, time for your soul to regroup. And we go through different aspects, learning how to envision communicating with your inner advisors, which are real workers. They work for you. You learn how to create a marketing advisor at this, at that, and this, anything. I had a salad leaf advising me on proper nutrition, and it's going,
nice.
Oh, you didn't want to order that, did you, on that menu? No, my salad leaf was an advisor. The ideal self, the transformation, the pre-experiencing success, the purpose in life, and then the ability to go from through the cycles of manifestation and letting go. And these pillars are practiced once a week. Now, on a daily basis, each of the exercises that we go through are practiced through the Living from Vision app on a daily basis. In the morning, 12 minutes. In the evening, 12 minutes. Short enough to want to do it, where it's like, okay, I have 12 minutes. Long enough to reinforce the habits, the positive habits. And foremost, it's not talking, it's doing it. You do it yourself. We guide you to do your own process.
Nice.
So it's like a lullaby that gets you to go into an internal state, and then you create the magic, whatever you plug in.
Nice. Beautiful. Yeah. I'm going to be building a page at my site like in the next few days. So that will be up where people can actually come and find your work. The links will also be under this video, because I feel like what I really want to help people get in touch with is these fantastic tools to help us live as more quantum beings. And I think you definitely have put together something that I would align with, that I would encourage people to want to do. And a couple of questions, because you touched on how as soon as we're putting out thought energy, it literally becomes gravitational fields, And I think one of the things I run into on a regular basis is people who want to continue complaining, or they want to complain about what's going on out there, or they want to manifest a better life, but they still want to complain about what's going on out there. Maybe they're not sure, how to change their life. They feel obligated to partners and jobs and places and locations, so they can't really live their dreams. It's impossible, and how do you help break people beyond this? I'm sure you run into it. I mean, I'm sure the people who come to your workshops have already gotten a little bit past that, but this is what I seem to run into over and over.
Yeah. Typically people come to learn because something where they're at is where they still want to grow from. And I still learn, I still listen. So wherever you are is the next level, is your next grandness. There's always a next level for us. So wherever it is. So if it's at the level where the person is still not seeing that things aren't working in their life, they just need to start doing a little bit of homework. It's just envision, where do you want to be? It may not happen today or tomorrow, but it will probably, at least in 2 years. I've had so many people who've done the miracles telling me. I mean, just in the last month, I've had people tell me, 17 years ago, 15 years ago, I was sick. 17 years I'd been sick, and she did the Living from Vision course, envisioned herself healthy in a glowing, great state. And then her mom gives her a trip to India to an Ayurvedic clinic. That person heals her because she was setting up the image of where she wanted to be, the internal state. Now, some people image, some people feel, some people just hold the state and know it in their bones. So whatever we use is fine. But she created the blueprint first with the guidance, and then she continued doing the Living from Vision course for the last 15 years, again and again and again.
Wow.
And each time she stepped up, and she lives now on an island, has her own clinic, and she's had her own clinic before, but now she's living with blue skies and palm trees.
That's
Another
fantastic.
person who had read my book said, I want to live like you by the dolphins, and I want to, a year into her doing the visualization, she said, oh, my husband, my life, that, and this. And I said to her, well, she had 2 children, and one was 4 years old, one was 17 at the time of her having done these exercises for a year. And normally, I mean, I have people who do it 3 weeks and they have like gangbuster results. But this lady, she was like laboring, and that's what you're asking. She was like,
Right.
And I said, well, look, you're not only manifesting for yourself. Your children are important to you. Your husband is important to you. So it has to be at a time when everybody is willing to shift with you if you want to shift that whole network. So if you're working at a family dynamic, you have to help clear everybody. You have to get them on board to envision. I've done it with my family. I've gotten my niece, my sister, the close ones working with me, living with me, they all vision. They all do the same things. We talk about it. We're on. They're like, oh yeah, I did this. I lived like this. So if they're in a complaining mode, first of all, I'm saying, say what you mean what you say. Rule number 1, try that on first. Don't utter a word unless you want to see it manifest. Number 2, give yourself some time. It will happen.
Yes.
It will happen. The universe listens all the time. Work on whatever negative part that you love or that you believe you're not worthy of, and then eventually you will get to the part where that says, I am worthy. I can do this. So I am also not very tolerant. If people say to me, blah, 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 I said, look, say what you mean what you say. I interrupt people. I go like, look, I don't really have time to listen to people's sob stories. I'm so sorry. I don't really want to hang in there and listen to your blah, blah, blah. I listen to it a little bit, and then I go into, okay, so if you did have what you wanted, and if not, practice it. I point it out. I'm daring to say, you can do it. It's the inspiring part. You can do it. Stop now and refocus.
Yes.
So,
Ilona,
and the lady wound up. After 2 years, she lived under palm trees by a dolphin beach.
nice.
Complete that story.
We are going to have to go.
I know.
You are just an amazing fountain of incredibly beautiful, wonderful information.
So sweet.
Thank you for all
Thank
your
you,
years
dear.
of work and what has brought you to this point. And
Thank you.
I want to encourage our audience to come and sit with you, be with you, get involved in your course, and lighten their lives. All the information will be under the video. I'll also have a link at my website.
Awesome. Thank you.
I want to say thank you so much.
Thank you, Cary.
You breathe, smile,
Namaste.
and love.
Yes.
Namaste.
And namaste to all of the listeners who are excited, and I feel all of us going, yes, we can live in a heightened state of a world where we are the grid work of light beings on the surrounding the planet, holding that field for anybody who wants to join in a heaven on earth.
Yes. We're headed that direction. Okay, many blessings.
Yes.
Much love to
Thank
all.
you.
And we shall see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.